Shall we begin?
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the More Than Just Keto podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ashley.
And I'm your other host, Molly. Today, we're going to talk about the things that we have gained from losing. And we're going to start with one that we've talked about over and over and over again. And we are going to talk about it over and over again because it
Ever and
is,
ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yes, because it is important. It has been a big deal. And that is community. We have gained community from losing.
Yeah, losing weight has created a support system that I never knew that I needed, that I have relied on, and have never been more thankful for a group of people. The community that we found on Instagram has been the most supportive and a huge key to success, I think, honestly.
Yeah, lots of inspiration and a lot of accountability, a lot of motivation, and just camaraderie, which we talked about, and we're not going to go deep into it, but we definitely had to hit that because that is definitely something that we know we have talked about together. We've talked about with y'all that we've gained just this sense of community, and really community it is proven that community will
AIDS
help
and
your journey.
weight loss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so why not? I say, why not?
We say, join the community.
Join the community,
Be
whatever
in the
community
community.
it is. Yes.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's good to have it, you know.
Right. So that was really the first one, which again, like we said, we're not going to go deep into that. So we're going to move on to the next one. There are the obvious things as well, like getting into a cute little outfit that you wanted to wear and things like that, which we're never going to discount that because all of that is great too. But we want to add on to that. We want to go beyond the obvious.
Some things you may not be thinking. Yeah.
Right. Some things you may not have even thought of. Because to be honest with you, when Ashley and I were discussing this episode, it was when we get ready for an episode, we talk about what it is that we're wanting to get across. We don't have a script. We've shared that before, but we do talk about what it is we want to give to everyone. What is
what
it
the
we
message
want?
is?
Yes.
What is the motive behind what we're sharing, and how does
Right.
what we're sharing help somebody, or you know,
Right.
what is the message that we're trying to get across?
Exactly. So we have some sort of plan. Okay. We just don't have a script.
We're not that good.
Yeah. So whenever we talked about it, Ashley asked the question and I just started thinking about it. I started brainstorming. What are some things that I have gained in this weight loss journey, this health journey, this wellness journey, whatever you want to call it, just bettering yourself overall? And one of the things that I thought of is something I've mentioned before, which is something that has gone away, and that is the psoriasis. Now, I'm not going to get into that again, but the point I'm trying to make is I spent years, my mom spent years, then I spent years trying to find a cure. So I was like on the search, and it was one of the things that was in the forefront of my mind because it was a problem that I had, and I was trying to find all these ways to fix it. I didn't even realize I haven't been trying to find ways to fix it for the last couple years since being on keto because it's fixed. It's
amazing.
So I haven't had to look for it. I haven't had to look for the answer anymore. And that's something I just didn't think about it because it was so normal, but then I've not done it. And now it's like, wow. So now I'm grateful thinking I don't have to look anymore. It took
Like
me a while
just
to
by
get
changing your food, that you were able to control a part of your health that you had been seeking answers for so long. And it was just kind of like gifted to you. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So if we start with, we've talked about how keto is healing and how, just being more mindful of what you put in your body. We've talked about the benefits of keto, of course, but just being on a health and wellness journey, period, is going to make you feel better. And Ashley and I talked about this, and this we want to talk about for a few minutes. And that is when I thought about why I started this to begin with, this healthy journey, is because my dad died of cancer. And that opened my eyes to cancer. And it opened my eyes to sugar and how sugar plays a great role in contributing to cancer cells growing.
Cancer loves glucose. Cancer loves sugar. And we have totally given up on that little demon by not feeding our body sugar. that doesn't mean that we can't get cancer, but that means that we are actively pursuing a lifestyle in which lowers the
Yes.
chances, right?
Lowering that risk.
We're not
Yes,
feeding that angry little
absolutely.
demon, right? And
Right.
that
That's
is such a
huge
big yeah, that's such a big deal to take an active and not back seat.
on our own health, on our own
Right.
future. You know,
That's such a big deal to be actively
right.
pursuing health and wellness, not just with the food that we're eating, but that, all the things, all of these little components make up a health and wellness journey.
Right. And knowing you're taking better care of yourself gives you that peace of mind. It's like you
Yeah.
just said, we're not saying, "Oh, if you eat healthy and you exercise, you're never going to get cancer." Like obviously we're not saying that. But when you are eating healthy and you are exercising, you are contributing to your wellness. You're contributing to yourself and you are contributing to potentially living a longer life.
Or you're reducing the possibility of other health complications
Right.
later on in your life or in the future. It's not just cancer, strokes,
Mhm.
heart disease, diabetes. There's so many things that by lowering the amount of sugar, the amount of glucose that we're consuming, there are so many benefits to that. It's
Right.
just so much beyond cancer. Like you said, there's physical ailments like um, eczema and people get psoriasis, and there's just all kinds of things that I've heard of that people have fixed.
Mhm.
Some people with IBS have been able to control this
Hello.
with their food,
Yes.
and that's an
It's
amazing that's
huge.
an amazing thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what actually, when you were talking just now, I was thinking you've taken control of your health. You've taken control. Like I said, obviously we can't control
Yeah.
the outcome of what happens in our lives. Like everything,
No.
things happen. We can't control the environment. We can't control, the
Yeah.
quality air and all, thing and the food. We try our best to buy the
Yeah,
best we can,
we
but
can
then
do our best.
we can do
Yeah.
our best. So at the end of the day, things happen. Clearly that's just let's so we're clear. Like I feel like that needs to be very clear because I
Yeah, of
just
course,
don't
you
want
can't control every aspect, but you can definitely take an active
an
role
active
in your
role in
health
your
and
health.
wellness journey.
Yes.
You can certainly not make it worse. You can certainly,
Right.
there's no harm in doing the
Right.
best you can and trying to prevent as much as you can. If they say
Exactly.
you should exercise and that's good for your health, we know that, just as well as making fitness a priority, that making your food health and your food choices a priority.
You're not going to do harm by doing better to yourself. So if you're
Yeah,
treating
there's going to
yourself
be
better,
no
it's not
harm
like
by being healthier
yes,
or
exactly.
living a healthier lifestyle. So
Right, right, right.
will you prevent all diseases in your future? No, hereditary things, contribute to that. There's lifestyle, you said environmental, there's lots of things that you
It's
can account
lots
for,
of
but at
things,
least you
right.
can say, I took an active role in my health. I did the best I could. I know that, I made myself a healthier person.
Mhm.
And we hope that that plays out in the long run and that we are able to stay healthier longer and live longer
Exactly.
lives.
She said it
That's
exactly
important
right. It's
because I want
it.
to be
That's
here a
it.
long time for my kids.
Right. And that's kind of part of it too. It's like a lot of the thing that has helped me continue this journey is thinking ahead, not just thinking of the now. Like I believe in being present.
Yeah,
So important to be
absolutely.
present. But I think when
Really
you're
important.
thinking ahead and thinking, okay, I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there for my grandkids. I want to do this for them. I want to do this so that I am able to enjoy so much more in this life. That's a big deal. Like that's something to not be taken lightly.
Well, we're
So,
talking about quality of life here, right?
yeah.
And that propels us to stay on track. That propels us to think about the future. And we're not talking about getting anxiety and thinking about the future,
No, 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 no. Not
worrying about those things. We're
overthinking.
talking
Not
about,
worrying. Right.
right. And we're talking about being present in your choices so that your future is a longer one, right? That we
Right.
have more to look forward to, right? If we
Mhm.
can control that part, if that is going to be, I was definitely headed down the diabetes road. I was
Yeah, me
definitely
too.
headed in that direction. And that will cut my life short. I can
Mhm.
say now that I know that I have taken that clock and turned it backwards.
Right.
And there's a chance now that may never be a reality for me. So I know that in that way, even if it's only just that way and other things happen, I know in that way I didn't contribute to that disease.
Right.
I
And
right. So
yeah. And you saying that makes me think of something. I don't know if this is a good example or not, but I'm just thinking this came to my head. I used to be a smoker. I was a smoker from the time I was 18 until I was 30 something. I can't remember, 32, 31. But every time I was pregnant, I would stop smoking, but then I would start back again. And I finally quit smoking in 2010, I think 2009. It was a while back. Um, I made a comment to my husband the other day about my lungs, and he said, "Babe, your lungs are healed." I said, "They are?" He said, "Yes. It's been long enough that they're now healed." I was like, "Oh." So it's like, if I can stop putting that toxic stuff in my body and really harming myself and really allow my body to become better and healthier and reduce my risk of lung cancer and reduce my risk of emphysema and all the things that come with
It's the
smoking,
same
it's the
principle,
same idea,
exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
it was a good example. Okay.
Yeah. It's the
It's
same
the same
principle. And
idea.
once again, we're talking about the quality of life. We're talking about not only living longer, but being excited about that future that you may
Yeah.
get more of a chance to live now. We're talking about being there for our kids. We're talking about being able to play with them, being able to do things. I know for me that were physically not possible.
Well,
And
that's another
everybody has
gain.
their own version of physically not possible because
Mm-hmm.
we're all different.
Right.
At my highest weight, at almost 300 pounds, 270 pounds, I couldn't play with my kids the same way that I can play with them now.
Right.
They comment on it and they're small, but like, oh, mom can jump on the trampoline, mom can jump off the diving board, mom can do all these things. And um it's not only about physically being able to do it, but mentally being able to do it. I would tell myself, sit on the sidelines because you will make a fool of yourself because you look this way. I would negative self-talk,
Yeah.
even though weight
Because you
really
lack the
shouldn't let you.
confidence.
Right. I lacked the confidence. And even though
Mm-hmm.
your weight shouldn't dictate your confidence, I've really learned that you need to love yourself in all shapes, sizes, and
Oh,
all parts
yes.
on your journey. That's
Right.
really vital. I was not doing that.
Yeah,
It
but your
took
size
me,
can also limit you from doing the things you want to
right.
do.
And because of my size and because I physically couldn't do those things, I had a lot of negative self-talk
Right,
because I was
right,
like, wow, you can't do this. You can't do that. You're
right.
miserable when you do X, Y, and Z. My knees would hurt. There were exercises that I couldn't do. There were things I didn't want to partake in because I knew I'd be hurting.
Yeah.
Cleaning the house all day, I'd have to have a hot pad on and lay in bed at night. And I would be
Wow.
like, man, I really regret that. Girl, now I, I can do the most, right? So it's just small things.
Well,
I know it seems silly, but
let's focus on each of the things you do, because you named a few different things there that are kind of different categories, and we're talking about the things that we've gained. So one of the things that you said is exercise. So you talked about your knees. So you and I both believe in exercise. We both love to work out. We both enjoy it. Some people don't enjoy it. We actually enjoy it. And we know the
yeah, we
benefit
love
of
it.
it as well. Now, we don't
I
always feel
didn't
like
always
doing
love it.
it. And I didn't
I
always
didn't
love it
always
either.
love it
And that's
either.
what I want to get into, because there was a time for me, I couldn't do a jumping jack, let alone the things that I can do now. And part of the reason, A, is I didn't have the stamina, but B, my belly stopped me from being able to bend over to do the things. But there was a point in time where I was like, you know what? I have to do them anyway. And eventually that belly shrunk
Yeah.
where I could do things. But you were telling me about your knee. You were just talking about your knees just
Yeah,
now.
my knees. I mean, I would, and I've told the story before, I would fake running the mile or not even do it, or I wouldn't show up for class, or I'd
Oh,
like
yeah.
be late because I would
Yeah.
just like lie on my fitness stuff, or like, I rolled an ankle. I can't do that. I would say that I couldn't do things even though I probably could, and I should have tried, but I didn't because I didn't want to do it, and it was uncomfortable and it was hard, just like everything in life, right? I didn't want to do it. So I would get out of it or try to get out of it. And I would just always say, well, I'm not a runner because I hate running and I can't do it. I physically just can't do it. I don't know how
Yeah.
people do it, but I can't. Now, and I know there are people that are, bigger than I was or am and can do it. It physically for me, I mean, literally, when I'm telling you limping, I would be, on the treadmill 4 miles an hour. That would be like jogging to me, dripping sweat, barely moving my feet on the treadmill. And I would pay for it for days after days after days.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm never going to get there. This isn't for me. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And it was very defeating. And it
Mm-hmm.
really didn't have anything to do with so much of like, if I liked my body or not. It was that I paid for the choices that I made, and I was also paying for the choices I made because of the things that I ate. I did not realize that my weight was holding me back so much
Right.
until I started losing it. That's when things really changed. And I was
Yeah.
able to see it's not that you're not a runner. It's not that you can't be one. It's not that you're not good at this or that. It's that your body just, for whatever reason, with that weight, couldn't do those things.
Right. And did you have
And
knee
that
problems?
really, yeah, I had knee problems just like, I mean, when I tell you, like, they would hurt so bad after going to the gym. I would pay for it for like days and then I'd have
And
to take
now?
time off to recover and then I would go back. And now I very rarely have those problems unless I do something when I'm doing the most and I hurt something. That maybe, but
So it wasn't that you
on
had
the
knee
daily knee
problems.
pain, no.
So it wasn't that you had knee problems. It was that your body was heavy on your knees. And then as you lost weight, what did you tell me about for every pound you lose?
Yeah, for every pound you lose, you take 4 pounds off your joints. Now, knee problems run in my family, and if I'm not careful, if I do a lot of like high impact jumping and things like that, which it's not great for you anyway, and I'm running, I can still have problems. But I mean, when I tell you they would ache, I would work a full shift and walk like 3 to 5
And you would be
miles.
real pain.
My knees and my back would be in bad shape.
Yeah.
I mean, the hot pads stayed plugged in next to the bed
Oh,
every
wow.
day. And
So,
now I'm
mhm.
running at 6.5 or 6 miles an hour and I can do it almost every day. When I think about physically how far I've come, am I going to be a marathon runner? That's not what I'm looking to do. But the fact that I get on that treadmill and I watch myself push that button to a faster and faster speed. And then as I'm running on that treadmill, there's a wash of adrenaline that hits me that says, you're doing this.
Wow. And
Look at
that's
your
just,
speed.
wow. That's so
Look at you.
inspiring.
You're running. You're running.
Yeah.
You're running. You're running. And it's in my head. And I'm like, I'm running. I'm running. I'm running. I'm not jogging.
Wow.
I'm running. And it doesn't matter the speed or the time or how long you do it. It's the fact that I could even get up to that because I would watch people on the treadmill next to me and wish that I could run as fast as them.
And there you are.
And now there are times where I am the fastest one in my little row or whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the
Yeah, that's
tables have
great. You've
turned.
you've become like athletic. You're like athletic.
Yeah, and I wasn't
Right.
ever athletic.
Right.
I
So how
mean,
exciting is
ever.
that? Because I know you also lift
It's
weights and
very there's a sense of confidence that definitely comes from that I can't explain. And
yeah.
once again, if you can do all those things and your size doesn't hold you back, then
Then more
then
power
that is
to you.
amazing. Then
Well,
more
that's
power to you. It wasn't
yeah.
me. It wasn't for
Right,
me.
me neither. First of all, I didn't have the energy to do it. Let's just start with that.
Well, yeah,
But we're going
that's
to
the
talk about
ketones
energy
are
next.
yeah.
But I didn't have the energy to do it. But secondly, my body limited me from being able to do it.
Yeah, that's how I
But
yeah.
you have to start somewhere. And you were just talking about running. I saw a guy. He shared something inspiring about even though he can run a mile. I can't remember. I'm probably going to totally. I'm probably going to totally chop up the numbers here. But even though he can run a mile in 8 minutes, even if it takes you 16 minutes to run a mile, it's the same distance. You've still gone the same distance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't get stuck on you're not going fast enough or you're not, you just keep going.
And
Like Ashley said, she's like, I'm running. I'm running. Like that's so
I'm running and
exciting. I love that. And you
yeah, and
build to
you know
that.
what?
You build to
You
that.
do.
You don't
You
just
do.
get there. You have to
Well,
build to that.
isn't it the same way you get it, get your weight under control? You
Yeah.
don't just wake up and you do the diet for a day and you're like,
Get rid of that
60
all or
pounds
nothing
gone.
mentality. Yeah, we
Right.
don't
We're
want to have
talking
that.
about you wake up, you make small changes and choices,
And they
and
add
all of a
up.
sudden there is a day where you look in the mirror or you get on the treadmill or you go up the stairs and you're like,
I didn't
oh,
pass out.
hey, girl,
Right.
hey.
Yes.
She
Yes, she
has
did it.
arrived. She's here.
Right.
She's actively living. She is in the present. She is doing all the things that she wanted to do. And I wish everybody had that moment.
Absolutely.
I didn't ever think that that was going to happen for me. I didn't ever think that I'd be on that treadmill and I'm like, can I do 6.5? Is there a
Right.
day
You
I'm going
push
to get to
yourself a little
7?
more.
Now,
Yeah.
now that sense of limit, and you know what? I'm going to use your word. Your
Good.
word
Use
for
it.
the year
Yep.
is
Use it.
limitless.
Use it. Yes. Limitless.
That limit that I set for myself,
Mm-hmm.
that we all set for ourselves, when that came off, I realized that my life is truly limitless and that
Yeah.
I am limitless.
Limitless. Oh, that's beautiful.
It's up to me to decide
Yes, yes,
what
it's up to
limits
you
I have or if
for
I have none.
yourself.
And I feel
Right,
free to have no limits. There's
right.
nothing I can't do.
Yeah. But you know
That
what?
comes from
This
achieving those small goals every day.
and this right here is what you're talking about right now is confidence. And confidence comes as
Yes.
well. We gain confidence from losing. So we're not just talking
Yeah.
about, and again, not putting it down. We're not just talking about putting on a bikini and feeling confident. Not putting that down.
I mean, those are
Great
awesome
moment.
things.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's exciting. We're just not talking about that. We're talking about that
Yeah.
confidence that
Shake your own booty
Ashley's
in the
talking.
mirror,
Yes,
look back
shake
at
it,
it.
look at, go, girl, you looking good. Yes, that's all
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
But the
Got to do
confidence
it.
we're talking about right now, we're going beyond the physical right now, like the look. We're going beyond the
This is a
vain. Okay,
mental. This is a
this
this
is
is a
the mental,
mental
this is
thing.
the
Yeah.
emotional, this is the inside we're getting to today. So what Ashley just talked about, exactly what she's talking about, is she built and got to a place where she became confident and she could
Yeah.
do this and she could do that and she didn't limit herself
I look
anymore
at
and she
everything
tried
that
this.
way now, not
Yeah.
just the gym, right? That's
Right,
exactly what we're
right. It
saying.
goes beyond,
Exactly.
yes, because it can. We start it in one place, but then what we do is we apply it to other areas in our lives, like the thing. Because
They're like roots. You
yeah,
plant them and they
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
spread.
Right.
And the more they spread, the more it affects things, the stronger the plant becomes, right?
Yes,
The more
and
roots, the
blossoms
stronger and it blossoms, right? So
and
you grow
beautiful.
this sort of
Yes,
like new
growth.
life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Based on your accomplishments. And this is why we talk about this so much, right? Because it's not just about the food. It's not just about the losing the weight it's the fact that it's a domino effect. You
Mm-hmm.
create your own
Mm-hmm.
change by tripping change over and over and over again. And by pushing yourself to your limits and accomplishing your goals,
Mm-hmm.
you create more change. I never want to live in a world where I stop challenging myself to change and grow and become better.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that or I didn't think about that prior. I just wanted to change one or two things. Now I want to live my life
To the fullest, huh? And do it all.
and apply that same method to everything. So that's why
Yeah.
it's so important. It's not just the food, it's not just the diet, it's not just the weight, it's not just the clothes, it's not just the energy.
Right.
It's how
It's
can you take that and
all of
apply it
it.
to the rest of your life?
Yes.
These are
Yes, and
life
become
lessons.
successful in all other areas of your life. Earlier, I said you've talked several things, but let's break them down. And we just broke down two of them. But here's the third one. You talked about energy. And I know for me, the energy is so different now. And I used to watch my son
Yeah.
play. I'd watch him on the floor. I'd watch him run around. I would watch, right? But now I'm
Yeah.
on the floor. Now
Sidelines, we call that.
right. I'm not doing that
On the
anymore. I'm
sidelines of
kicking the
life.
ball. I'm sliding down the slide with him. I remember the
Me
first day
too.
that I climbed up into the park, the monstrosity they have of you can climb up and then you can slide
The
down and
jungle
go over the
gym kind
jungle
of a
gym, all
thing.
that,
Yeah.
right? And I remember I hadn't done it because my son was born. I'm talking about my youngest son, by the way. My son was born and I gained weight short, like I was already heavy when I had him and gained weight right after. Anyway, I've gone up and down. When I finally got down enough, I was nervous to go down the slide. I wasn't sure if I would be
I
able
couldn't
to
fit
get
down the
down.
slide at one
But that's what I'm
point
talking about. I didn't know if
at
I could
all.
even go down the
Yeah.
entire way.
Yep.
But I got up there. This was this past summer. I got up there and he was on one, I was on the other. I was like, okay, I can do this. Oh my gosh, I'm 1, 2, 3, go. And we slid and it was a big deal for me, even though for him it was a big deal just because it was fun. For me, it was a big deal because I was on the slide with him. And that was a
Because you
big
were
deal.
playing and living, you were taking an active role in your life.
Yes,
And I
right.
remember I had similar, moments where I would try and realize like I barely made it down there or had to like move. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, I don't want to do that again because that was embarrassing.
Oh, right. The embarrassment.
Or, just I am a big kid at heart. I've always been. If you
Me
followed
too.
me or you know me, you know I'm silly and you're in the same way.
Yeah.
And I I've always had this idea of a mom that I would be.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I wasn't really living that life
Wow.
really
Yeah.
exercising that potential of who I
Mm-hmm.
was to let all the fun mom things that I wanted to do that I envisioned for my kids. I was holding myself back. I didn't realize that. But like you said, that moment when you're playing, when
Yeah.
you're living out this sort of fun, free,
Yes. Yes.
unlimited
There it
version
is
of
again.
yourself,
Right.
that's who I am. And now my outside matches what I
Yes.
want to
Oh,
be able to
yeah. I
do
love that.
and who I am on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That now my outside lets me do those things.
Self confidence, something we've gained. Specifically for me, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, intimacy with my spouse has definitely improved. I will go further
Yeah,
to say he never made
it's a
me
very
feel bad.
important.
It's very important. He never made me feel bad about myself before, but I made me feel bad about myself. I didn't feel comfortable enough. I
You put
felt
limits
self
on
conscious. Yes,
your
I put limits
vulnerability,
on
right?
me. Right. But now I have a freedom with him. I am more vulnerable with him and it just makes it closer and more intimate. And it's a beautiful thing. And I didn't
Yeah, I
realize
think
that.
growing your relationship with your spouse, especially when we're talking about being intimate with somebody, you don't think that this is going to be one of those things that
Right.
changes your life. But once again, this affects so many parts of your life. And
Right.
being intimate with your partner, feeling comfortable with your partner is so important for your
It
mental health,
is.
for your
It's
physical
and
health,
for your marriage.
and for your marriage. And that
Right.
is definitely something that I think has made a huge difference is feeling confident, feeling sexy, feeling
Yes, yes,
worthy.
yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
not that weight loss is going to give you those things, but it has made me explore my body physically, mentally, my heart and soul. It's made me want to make everything in my life better. That's the
Right,
point.
right,
You shouldn't have to wait till you lose weight to find that, but that's what how it happened for me. I know now that it's really not tied to your weight. It's about your journey. It's about seeking health
right.
and
We're not talking.
yes.
No, see, that's the thing. I think we always need to make sure and bring home. There is no specific size or weight that is ideal. Everybody's different.
No.
We're all different
Yeah.
heights. We're all different ethnicities. We have different body shapes. Never are we ever talking about an ideal body size or an ideal weight. Ever. We are talking about
We're always
healthy.
talking
We are
about
talking
being
about feeling
healthy.
confident. We're talking about the
Yeah.
emotional health, the mental health, the physical health.
That doesn't come
Health.
with a
It's not a
number.
number. It's not a number.
Health doesn't have a
You'll know.
number.
You'll know when you feel confident. And some people feel confident
Yeah.
at a certain size that I wouldn't feel confident at because I was at that size and I didn't feel confident. So I know for myself, and all we're ever doing is sharing our own experiences, our own views, and our own opinions on
Yeah,
it.
and I mean, there's a lot of there's parts of me that wish it didn't have to take me. I wish I would have learned. I wish that I would have learned those things before I lost weight. And I think that's why we communicate them. I think that's why we talk about them because if you can start that journey prior, it's really
Yes.
important because your size, even though you've lost weight, is so important. It's not about the weight.
Right.
It's what ultimately drove me to work on those things. But I see now very clearly that I could have always worked on those things, but I didn't think I could because my worth was tied up into my size. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that needs to be said. Your size doesn't make you a better person. Your size doesn't make you mentally more fit or not than others. But if you're doing the health and wellness journey, when you fix your mind, your body's going to follow
Yeah.
and your body's going to change. And for me, that was I wanted to lose weight. It gave me more than just losing weight.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, if I could go back and tell myself anything from the beginning, it's do these things
Yeah.
right in the
Before you
beginning or
lose.
before.
Right.
You
Because
don't
then you're
have
ahead
to
of
be
the game.
confident.
You're totally
Yeah, you
ahead of
don't
the
have to be
game.
confident just because you lost weight. Definitely
Right.
loving yourself prior is a huge deal, and you should do it. And I wish I'd have done it better.
Now, listen, I'm going to tell you this. I heard this the other day and I thought it was wow. It's true. Self love is self discipline. Will Smith said it. Will
I
Smith.
100% agree.
Self love is self
I love
discipline.
him.
I know. It's such a good one. I have to, it's so good. Self love is self discipline. And some people don't want to hear that. But that's the truth. Because self love is talked about all the time in so many ways. But ultimately, you love yourself, you're disciplined with yourself. You take care of yourself, plain and simple. And you will gain a new life. That's what
what
this
we're
is all.
after, right?
Yeah.
Is to always be better. This is about chasing the things that make us better as humans, not
Right.
just physically.
And then you can gain your best
And
life. Your best life. That's Joy say.
you can live your
Living your
best
best
life.
life. Boom.
Yeah. So go out there and chase your best life.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yes, go out there and chase your best life.
There's one for all of us.
That's right.
And
And
it's
we have
yours.
one life.
Right there.
One life.
Go live your best life. Hunt down what makes you happy. Search
Yes.
for the things that you want in life
Right.
beyond the clothes
Yeah.
and the way we look, right?
Yes, that's good. I love that. That's right. Let's do that. Let's keep chasing our best life. I love that.
Yes.
Beyond the clothes, beyond the size, beyond the numbers. I love that. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for listening. As always, we appreciate you. And certainly we will see you again on the next episode.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. You can find and connect with us over on Instagram at More Than Just Keto. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the fun. We'll see you next time.